Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me? Thank you, Mama. Thank Well, welcome along, everybody, for the final time this weekend to Circuit Ricardo Tormo here just outside of Valencia. It's the Valencia Super Speed Week, and it is the final race of the 2020 season coming up for the NASCAR Euro Series Pro Division. The champion still has yet to be crowned at this fantastic venue, which sadly this weekend is not open to spectators. Most famous really this circuit for MotoGP and Superbikes, but it's also hosted the likes of GP2 and DTM and World Touring Cars and World Series by Renault, as well as being a popular Formula One winter testing venue. It's seen plenty of success over the years for Spanish motorcycle riders here. Sete Gibernau started the ball rolling with his 500cc victory for Suzuki back in 2001. Danny Pedrosa won the following year, and the likes of Jorge Lorenzo, Hector Barbera, Hector Fobal, Julian Simon, Nico Tirol, Maverick Vinales and Marc Marquez have also won here back in their motorcycling careers. Amazingly, if you look at all of the classes of MotoGP, Spaniards won 18 of the first 45 Grand Prix that are held here. So an amazing, successful circuit for Spanish riders, a very successful circuit for Spanish NASCAR drivers as well. The first time we ever appeared here was 2012. Pole position went the way of a Spanish driver who was with us at the time, Javier Villa. The wins, both of them, went the way of another Spanish driver, which is Ander Villarino. And Ander Villarino is on this grid here. He is back to NASCAR William Ury Series for the first time this season, but his non-championship point scoring. It's still cold, it's still blustery. We've still got a champion to crown, and let's just have a quick look at the way the circuit layout is here. It is an anti-clockwise circuit at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. We should be able to bring up a circuit graphic that will show you that. So anti-clockwise circuit, we're running the full circuit as well, so it's the 4 kilometre, just under 2.5 mile circuit, 14 corners. It does undulate as well, so the highest part of the circuit is up at sort of turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. The lowest part of the circuit is the start-finish straight in reality, so turns 14 down towards turn number 1, 650 metres that straight as well. It's a nice big long straight, 5 right-hand corners, 8 left-hand corners, and that big long straight as well. And despite the fact that the track actually occupies quite a compact area, there's 48 pit garages, and the circuit can seat 120,000 spectators as maximum capacity. But as we say, sadly, it is not open to the general public, this event, so it's just the team members, a few members of the media, the marshals and officials and the spotters, and that's about it, I'm afraid to say. So we had a race earlier on today. That race was won by Alon Day. At the time, we thought that finishing second was Olivier Hart, but he was actually handed a 10-second penalty for going beyond the track limit. So second place on the road went the way of Lasse Sorensen, and it also moved Luca Lasser up to third. And Luca Lasser, having come from 15th on the grid, he actually picked up the extra 8 championship points for gaining the most position, starting position to finishing position. At the time, I thought it might be Lasse Sorensen, but that was confirmed afterwards as being Luca Lasser. So Alan Day leads the championship on 365 points. Now, the number 24 PK Car Sport Chevy went to victory lane in the hands of Alan Day, the number 24 car, the victory lane for the 24th time. And now he's got a 24-point gap between himself and Lasse Sorensen. Is that an omen? 3 lots of 24 there for Alan Day. Lasse Sorensen is second. He also leads the junior trophy, which is for drivers aged under 25 in this category. Loris Hasemans is third in the championship, equal on points though with Gianmarco Ercoli, so both of them are on 310 points. Mark Goossens is fifth, Luca Lasser is sixth, and Stilis Longin, who didn't even complete the first lap, will have to go off the back of the grid for this one, is in 7th place. The leading Challenger driver couldn't be any closer in the Challenger Trophy. Look at the drivers in 12th, 13th and 14th position. Davide De Lara takes over the lead of the Challenger Trophy from Mauro Trioni, but they are separated by just 4 points, and a further 8 off that is Dario Carzo, and a further 3 off him is Yevgen Sokolovsky. So first, second, third and fourth in the Challenger Trophy points are separated by just 15, all 4 drivers. So it is all to play for, not just for the overall championship, but for the championships within. The Junior Trophy, the Challenger Trophy, and the team's title is still wide open as well at this stage, where you add together the points scored by the drivers in NASCAR Pro and the points scored by the drivers that drive that very same car in EuroNASCAR 2. Add those points together and that counts towards the team total. We are hoping also, once we get this race done and dusted, that we will, as we did with the EuroNASCAR 2 race earlier on, we'll hang around, we'll chat to the race winner in Victory Lane, but we will hang around for the podium presentations for the race and for the end of season podium presentations, because we will not be having our regular Night of the Champions awards ceremony over in America. All of the championship presentations will be done here at the circuit for obvious reasons in this strange period that we are all going through in 2020. So the cars will start to nudge their way out of the garages and shortly will make their way around the circuit. We will not be that far away long before we're back here at Ricardo Tormo either, because whilst it is hosting the final round for this season, this Super Speed Week weekends, which sees round 7 and round 8 of the championship taking place Thursday/Friday, and then into the 2 sets of finals races over the course of Saturday and Sunday, so 8 races that have been crammed in. But we'll be back here on the 17th and 18th of April to open up the 2021 championship calendar. I'll tell you a little bit more about that before we disappear and cut the stream for the final time this year. Remember, over the course of the winter as well, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com /EuroNASCAR, youtube.com/EuroNASCAR, and make sure you click on all of the links so that you can follow us and get notified as and when new content is issued throughout the course of what is going to be a busy off-season as everybody prepares. Some exciting news will be announced over the course of the winter, with drivers returning and new drivers coming in. So the cars making their way around the circuit. There is the number 6 car, which is the Feed Vic Racing EuroNASCAR FJ, as they're badged for this year, of Patrick Lamery. Ex-Formula 1 test driver was Patrick, testing for BAR, as it was called at the time. It's morphed into Mercedes, really, in terms of the ownership of that team. Over the years, was briefly Brawn as well, as various people have come in and bought it, so got as far as that. Also raced in Champ car as well, did Patrick Lamery. Is good friends and good mates with Jacques Villeneuve, who he co-owns the team with, Feed Vic Racing. Good to see them out this year. We haven't seen them all year because of various business and commentary and media commitments that they will have, but it's hopefully the team that we will see returning to the championship in 2021 when we get, as we say, get things underway back here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo over the weekend of the 17th and 18th of April. Spain, Italy, the Czech Republic, the United Kingdom, Germany, Croatia and Belgium all on the calendar for next year. I'll give you the dates, I'll give you the venues. We could always just log on to EuroNASCAR.com and pick up the details from there as to the full championship calendar for 2021. Now there is number 8, that's Dario Carzo. He is a driver who will be hoping for good things in the Challenger Trophy. He lies 3rd in the Challenger standings. He's 14th overall in the standings. He is just on 227 points. He's 12 points off the lead of the Challenger Trophy, which is Davide Dallara. And that man there is 24 points in the lead of the overall championship, Alan Day. He managed to catch up with him earlier on in Victory Lane, where he said, quite rightly so, you know, only 50% of the job is done, i.e. one of the double points races was done and dusted. He's still got this one to do, so he knows until that checkered flag falls at the end of this 18-lap race, mathematically anything could happen. There is the car that lines up alongside him. So Alan Day was set the fastest lap in the race earlier on today. Loris Haseman set the 2nd fastest lap, so he lines up on the outside of the front row of the grid. A thumbs up and a smile from, well, is he the outgoing champion, or could he be a back-to-back champion? We just don't know, because Loris Haseman is only 55 points off the race leader, the same amount as Gianmarco Ercoli is in the championship. And remember, 80 points for a win, 70 points for second, 68 points for 3rd place, and so on. It diminishes by 2 points for every position thereafter. That's the car that's going to line up 3rd on the grid, Giorgio Maggi, at the wheel of his Hendricks Motorsport Ford, the Swiss driver who was runner-up in the EuroNASCAR 2 division last year, stepped up to EuroNASCAR Pro and is as yet to win in the category so far this year. Giorgio Maggi, he's had a 2nd, that came up Grobnik in one of the races there. That's his best result of the season so far. He will have alongside him number 6 Lassie Sorensen, and then this car here, Nicola Rocca. Oh, what could have been for Nicola in the race earlier on. Started right off the back of the grid, having had all of his qualification times removed for continually transgressing the circuit limits, and carved his way up to, I think it was 4th place before the front tyre went. He is down there with Andre, ready to chat to him. So over to you, Andre. Chat to Nicola Rocca.
We're here with Nicola Rocca. Nicola, it was your first full season with DF1 Racing, now the last race of the year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it has been an eventful season, an eventful weekend as well. But I'm happy that we finally found some good pace on the 22. So now we are competitive. We have been competitive for the last few weekends, and yeah, I just want to finish it on a high. So hoping to get a podium in the last race of the season.
All right. Good luck and have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Back to Mark.
There we go, Nicola Rocca. Yeah, it's been an up and down weekend really for Nicola Rocca. 15th in the first race of the weekend, 4th in the second, and was running in 4th before the puncture in the last race that we had earlier on today, which dropped him back down to 15th again. So it's been an up and down weekend for Nicola Rocca, who lies 10th in the championship standings. He's on 254 points, 111 off the lead, so mathematically he can't do it. It's as simple as that. We'll head back down to Andre, who's managing to catch up with another drive. We're ticking them off.
We're here with Mark Goossens. Mark Goossens, the season comes to an end today. This is the last race of the year, and yeah, you've been with Carl Racing for the first time. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank everybody at FJ for making it possible, because it's been a really tough year. And you know, the thing we want to do is go racing, and I think they managed everything very well in putting a program together for us. So especially with this one here in Valencia, with 4 races in one weekend per driver, was quite a lot, but it was well organized. So a lot of compliments to the organizers for this season, a very difficult COVID-19 year. On the other side, this weekend for me it was about collecting points. I don't think we have the speed to be in the top 3. A lot of people taking track limits penalties and a lot of incidents on track, but you know, that's racing, that's close racing, it's pure racing, and it's NASCAR.
I wish you all good luck and have a nice race.
Thank you, Matt.
Back to Mark.
Always great to hear from Mark Goossens, and yeah, I echo his sentiments. It's not just Team FJ that the hats go off to; it's all for all the teams and all of the drivers, because they've all had to be flexible and change and have logistical nightmares and nightmares this weekend of having, as we've heard, you know, 4 races for each one of the divisions. So without the support of all of the teams and all of our key partners, as well as the great work done by Team FJ, it simply wouldn't happen. And yeah, Mark's had a difficult weekend. 2 of the 3 races so far, he's been given 5-second penalties for what's been deemed as avoidable contact or avoidable collisions. So he will be hoping to have a fairly trouble-free race in this one. That's Toma Ferrando's car. So Toma, nice to see him back, having missed the round at Grobnik in Croatia. He has been on the scene of EuroNASCAR since 2014, yet he's still only 23 years of age. Is Toma Ferrando, has done a bit of racing out in the States as well. K&M Pro East he's done in the past, so we will stay silent whilst we respect the national anthems. So for the final time this weekend, the national anthem of the United States of America and the Spanish national anthem ring out around this fantastic venue, just 20 kilometres outside of Valencia. Now, this circuit, we've got to have been here since 2012, and there's a chunk of drivers on the grid that have won at this venue before. Drivers that have won in EuroNASCAR Pro, there's just 3 of them. We have Ander Villarino, we have Alon Day, and we have Lasse Sorensen, who claimed his win earlier on over the course of this weekend. But there's 4 other drivers that have won at this venue whilst they were racing in EuroNASCAR 2 and have now stepped up to the top flight. Toma Ferrando, Stinis Longin, Gianmarco Ercoli and Giorgio Maggi. So 7 different drivers on the grid have been to victory lane here in the past, whether it be in EuroNASCAR 2 or in EuroNASCAR Pro. So the cars are sitting there. We will wait for the Grand Marshal to issue those infamous words, and then we will hear that fantastic rumble of the cars again as the engines are fired into life, and we will hopefully have a real curtain closer of a race to bring down the close of the 2020 season. As we heard from Mark Goosens, I think we all agree that 2020, regardless of where you are in the world, has been a challenging world for everybody, and we've managed to get through it. Some of us have had a fair chunk of things to deal with over the course of the 2020 season, but thankfully we have managed to get through it. A calendar has been put together for the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series, not the one that was originally planned, but we've got there, which means that we are able to conclude our season about, nearly 2 months later than we were originally expecting, but we did start it a lot later than we were originally expecting as well. So yeah, hats off to everybody that's been involved, and the wonderful support that we get from Whelan, from General Tyre, from Kenol, from McDonald's, and from TJ, who will be making the titanium jewellery, the titanium ring for our champion. Could it be that man who is going to have the titanium ring on his finger later on? Or could it be Lassie Sorensen, or might it be Gianmarco Ercoli, or even back-to-back championships for Loris Hazemans? We simply do not know at this stage. So instruction is given for the drivers to start their engines then. Let's guide you through the grid. It is number 24, which is Alan Day, that starts on pole position, and alongside it's the number 50 of Loris Hazemans. So the PK's Carport Chevy and the Hendricks Racing Ford. Row number 2 of the grid for Hendricks Motorsports, the Ford number 18 of Giorgio Maggi, alongside the DF1 Racing Chevy in the hands of Lassie Sorensen. The 3rd row of the grid, it's another Chevy from DF1 Racing. Number 22, Nicola Rocca, has for company the Alex Caffey Motorsport Race Art Technology Ford, number 1 of Tomo Ferrando. And row 4 of the grid, it's the Cal Racing number 54 Chevy of Gianmarco Ercoli, alongside the Cal Racing Ford of Mark Goosens, number 98. The 5th row of the grid sees the Hendricks Ford of non-championship scorer Olivier Hart. His Ford lines up alongside the EuroNASCAR FJ from Mishu Motors, number 33, Luca Lasser. And row 6 of the grid is another DF1 Racing Chevy, number 99, the German driver Justin Kuntz, lines up alongside another Chevy, which is the number 89, not only motorsport car of Davide Dallara. He, at the moment, has now taken over the lead of the Challenger Trophy for the amateur drivers that are in this category. A few cars starting from the pit lane by the look of things. We'll try and pick up on those. Row 7 of the grid is scheduled to be 48 under Villarino, alongside the Solaris Motorsport Chevy of Francesco Stini, number 12. Row 8 is number 6, Patrick Lamolle, alongside 8, which is Dario Cardo for Feedwick Racing. The 9th row of the grid is for Cal Racing, number 31, Mauro Trione, alongside number 10, which is the not only motorsport car of Alberto Panibianco, another driver that makes his debut, the 24-year-old Italian, in the series this weekend. He is not scoring championship points. Row 10 of the grid is 46, Yevgen Sokolovsky, and number 11, watch out for the number 11 PK Carsport Chevy of Stinis Longines from the back of the grid. Should make some progress in this one. I suspect he'll be in the top 6 by the time we see the checkered flag fly, if everything goes to plan, because he's had a very up and down weekend so far. And off the back of the grid, we should have number 70 Mirko Schultes, but I don't think he'll be taking part in this race because he's been trying to do both EuroNASCAR 2 and EuroNASCAR Pro, and I think for this weekend, whilst he's been shown on the grids, we've not really seen him out in much of the EuroNASCAR Pro races, so I suspect he won't be there. So the cars are going to have just one single formation lap, so it is critical at this stage that they try and build the temperature on a chilly and windy day here in Valencia, and see whether they can have a clean race towards the checkered flag. Remember, 18 laps, 72.9 kilometres between this pack of drivers heading around the circuit and a championship of some description. Right, so Mirko Schultes is there. Right, so Mirko Schultes has started, but one of 3 cars from the pit lane. So I just saw the white car with the gold stripe down the centre of it, the thick gold stripe. So Mirko Schultes is there, but he and another 2 cars are going to start at the very tail end of the grid. I'm just going to see if we can pick out who the others are. There's Mirko Schultes. I'm not quite sure, I think one of them might have been Davide Dallara. It's like a black car with an orange number on the side, so I think it might be Davide Dallara. And the other one, I think, is Ander Villarino, I think, but I can't absolutely tell. But I think they're the 3 that started from the pit lane. Let's have a quick look. Yes, they are. Absolutely. They are the three that started from the pit lane. So the car's heading round through turn number 13 up towards Adrian Campos, which is the 14th and final corner on this 4-kilometre, 2.5 mile circuit. And we are going to see, hopefully, a champion crowned at the end of this one. So for the final time in 2020, buckle up everybody, we are about to go green with the final race for EuroNASCAR Pro. The championship's still alive, and as they head over the start finish line, the green flag waves. Alan Day and Loris Hazemans, both of them on the front row of the grid, but Alan Day has got that all important inside line on the charge up towards Asper for the first time, and now Loris Hazemans slots himself into second position. Lasse Sorensen is there in third place. Tomo Ferrando might be in fourth here. He's trying around the outside of Lasse Sorensen. He's almost getting a push from the car behind as well, which is Mark Goossens. Everybody safely through the first corner. The cars that started from the pit lane tried to pick their way up through the order, including number 89, Davide Dallara, because he wants to try and claim the championship in the Challenger Trophy, which he leads at the moment. So he's got to make progress and catch up with his fellow competitors in that subcategory of EuroNASCAR Pro. 3 wide almost, heading up towards the area of turn number, what's that going to be? Turn number 8, I think it will be, as they then charge their way through and up towards the next sections of the circuit. Running a little bit wide there was Justin Coutts at the wheel of the number 99 car, but as they then flick their way through Curva de la Fission, Stinus Longin is making great progress off the back of the grid. I said watch out for him. Well, he is carving his way up through the order, running side by side with Luca Lasserre, and hot on the heels of the number 22 of Nicola Rocca as well. Alan Day leads, Loris Hazemans second, Lasse Sorensen there in third place, Tomo Ferrando having a great run there in fourth position. There is Patrick Lamery. He is fighting away with Mirko Schultis in the number 70 car, Mirko having started from the pit lane. Now this is the fight between Olivier Hart and Luca Lasserre. This is going to be down towards the bottom of the top 10, these two cars. The race leader will be over the start-finish line and chalking the first lap into the book. Alan Day leading the race. There's bumpers flying and cars off at the exit of turn number 14, I think. Lots of bodywork flying up, so somebody's carrying damage towards the tail end of the field. But Alan Day leads from Loris Hazemans in second place. The progress of Stinus Longin continues. He gains another place over the start-finish line. Stinus Longin started 20th position. We've only done one lap, and the Belgian driver is up to 9th place. A fantastic start for the DK Car Sport number 11 car. Oh, there, I'm afraid to say, is Gianmarco Ercoli. Damage to his car on the front right-hand corner and a puncture. That may possibly bring out the safety car, I do fear, because that car is not in an overly safe place at this stage. And also, Mauro Trione is involved as well, and he was one of the drivers that was hoping he might be able to lift the Challenger Trophy. He's had a really difficult weekend. Both of those cars running out at the same stable, Cal Racing as well. So that's at turn number 1 where we have yellow flags. I do fear with the positioning of that car, that full safety car, we are not going to do anything other than go full course caution with this one, I think. But we'll wait for that to be confirmed by race control. Alan Day leading. Loris Hazemans second, Lasse Sorensen third, Tomo Ferrando in fourth place, Giorgio Maggi and Mark Goossens wrap up the top 6 at this stage. So Sorensen in third place would also be the leading junior driver, the under 25-year-olds. And Mauro Trione, who was leading the Challenger Trophy until he got tangled up in an incident, probably now handed the lead of the Challenger Trophy aspect of this race to Dario Cardo. But that will only update on the graphic as and when they head over the start-finish line next time through. But I think it will be the number 8 car of Carzo that will pick up the lead of that category. So over the start-finish line goes our race leader. 2 laps now completed. Yellow flags waving at turn number 1 because of the stricken car of Gianmarco Ercoli towards the edge of the circuit. Need to be careful that they don't run too wide there. Lasse Sorensen in third place, still with Tomo Ferrando behind him, but not unsurprisingly, we are going full course caution. So safety car is being deployed. Shouldn't take too long to get Gianmarco Ercoli's car out of harm's way. And that is such a disappointing end to the season for Gianmarco Ercoli, who returned to victory lane this year in the EuroNASCAR Pro Division. He claimed a win in the second of the 2 races at our opening weekend of racing at Vallelunga in Italy, the circuit just outside of Rome. He was lying jointly third in the championship standings with Loris Hazemans, both of them on 310 points. coming into this race, i.e. 55 points off the championship leader Alan Day, but that, I'm afraid, is going to be the championship aspirations gone for Gianmarco Ercoli. I think he will still be fairly safe in terms of finishing second in the junior trophy for this year. It really depends on how Giorgio Maggi gets on in this race, but I suspect he might just about have done enough to hang on to second place in the junior trophy category. So, safety car ready to pick up the pack. Alan Day and Loris Haysmans have got a little bit of a break, really, from the cars that were fighting over third and fourth place, Lassie Sorensen and Thomas Ferrando, but of course all of that is going to bunch up again once more. A few of the drivers, maybe if they've pushed a bit hard in the earlier race, might be quite thankful for this brief safety car period, because it means that they are not putting as much pressure on the tyres or asking quite as much of their general tyres, for which now some of these tyres may already have done 2 or 3 races. The new tyres that they were allocated, just 2 of them for qualifying, will now be in their 3rd session, so a 30-minute qualifying session and their second 18-lap race. So everything on the car now not quite as crisp and new as it was for the qualifying session, but the limitation on tyres are all to do with trying to control the costs in this championship. So there is Mauro Trione, the number 31 car. As I said, he has now dropped down through the order as a result of the problems that befell him. He was leading the Challenger Trophy championship standings coming into this weekend, and was leading the Challenger Trophy in the race. And it is indeed, yeah, Dario Carzo now that has picked up the lead in that category. So Gianmarco Ercoli's car getting hauled out of the way. Confirmation from race control that the lineup is now okay. So all of the cars are in their correct positions, i.e. the positions that they were in the lap prior to the safety car coming out. There's Yevgen Sokolovsky, the number 46 car. As I say, he is a busy guy. He has every race weekend, I think he's done both EuroNASCAR 2 and EuroNASCAR Pro, so that's usually 4 races over the weekend, but because it's Super Speed Week, it's meant 8 races for him over the course of this weekend, 4 qualifying sessions and 8 races, plus free practice as well. So he's turned a few miles around Circuit Ricardo Tormo this weekend. The 42-year-old Ukrainian, so a former bike racer, team owner as well in motorcycles as well. At Yamaha Cup he was very much involved with. Raced late model V8s at Venray, which is the oval circuit in the Netherlands that we've raced at in the past, and one of many drivers that came through the recruitment program. So if you want to have a look at the recruitment program, head on to the website EuroNASCAR.com, and there will be various recruitment days held over the winter, usually at a couple of circuits as well. You submit your CV for the recruitment program, so if you are a competitor, submit your CV to EuroNASCAR and you may get invited along to one of the recruitment trays to sample what it's like to drive one of these cars and have a chat with Jerome Galpin and the team, and you may well, if you've got the budget, be able to join the grid for the 2021 season. But so many drivers do that, come through the recruitment program and then join us for the racing. And usually what happens as well is there are some fantastic prizes. The champion gets to race over in one of the NASCAR affiliated competitions in America. The leading team at the midpoint of the season get to propel their car up the hill at Goodwood at the Festival of Speed. There's a driver exchange program that NASCAR have, which means that some of the drivers from the other side of the Atlantic come and race with us, and the flip side of that is some of our guys and girls go and race with them. So it really is a wonderful family. The only NASCAR affiliated championship outside of North America as well. So you've got the Canadian series, you've got the Mexican series, and you've got obviously all of the various series, including the modified series in America. There is the rather forlorn looking Gianmarco Ercoli. The body language, I think, and the way that his head is positioned in his hands tells you all you need to know, that he is bitterly disappointed with the way that things have finally happened for him in the 2020 season. Not the end to what has been otherwise a solid season for him that he would have wished. Wins and seconds and third places, plenty of top fives. For Ercoli this weekend, 2 fifth places and a 4th place, but retirement in the very final race of the season. Bitter pill to swallow for him. So safety car will be in at the end of this lap. There's the number 11 PK Carsport car. I did say at the beginning of this, didn't I? Watch out for Stinis Longines. I think he'll make progress. I think he'll be in the top 6 by the end of the race. Well, we haven't had that many laps, really. We are only on lap 5, and 2 or 3 of them have been behind safety car. Longines is 8th. So he really has absolutely driven the wheels off PK Carsport. Pro job backed. Number 11 Chevy. Stinis has been a long time competitor, always being run by Anthony Kumpen's team, PK Carsport. His father, Bert Longines, has also been a regular competitor for a good number of years in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. He's the spotter nowadays, largely for Stinis Longines. So lineup is good. Cars are being called back into 2x2 order. Safety car is about to peel its way in towards the pit lane. This is lap number 5 that we are on, about to start lap number 6, and we're going to go green again at the end of this one. Remember, the championship still up for grabs. Alan Day, Lasse Sorensen, Loris Hazemans, even Mark Goosens mathematically still might be in with a shout, but really, surely it's going to come down to Alan Day, Lasse Sorensen, and maybe with a bit of luck, Loris Hazemans, but I really think it's either Lasse Sorensen or Alan Day that's going to be lifting the championship trophy and putting the TJ titanium ring on their finger at the end of this one. So green flag is about to fly. We're about to get things back underway here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo as the cars charge their way up towards turn number 1, and Alan Day is not quite, I think, going to have his nose ahead when they get up there. It is, no, Alan Day is having to be careful here. Lasse Sorensen has squeezed his way through, and Loris Hazemans moves up to take up the lead of the race. So Hazemans lead, Lasse Sorensen in 2nd place, Alan Day in 3rd, Tomo Ferrando in 4th, gets bumped around, I'm afraid to say, and that was contact with Giorgio Maggi that got into the tail end of him. Stinis Longines had to swerve to avoid the contact as well, and that's delayed the car that had made all that progress off the back of the grid. But for Giorgio Maggi, from what was a restart after a caution, he's in the gravel trap, and that might bring about a further caution, I'm afraid. We'll have to wait and see. For the meantime, the race still continues. Bits of bodywork flying off some of the cars. You can see damage to the front left corner of Stinis Longines. Damage to the tail end of Mauro Trioni's was caused earlier on in the race. The race continuing, and Loris Hazemans looking to try and make good his escape if he can. So Hazemans, Sorensen, Alan Day, then it is, by the look of things, Mark Goosens who is there as the next of the runners, sitting there in 4th position. It is, no, it's not, it's Francesco Sini, I think, in 4th, and Mark Goosens behind him. So Sini, on the restart, was in 9th place. So, see, this looks as though it's Francesco Stini's car. Yes, it is, yeah. He was 9th place at the restart, and Stini is now into 4th position, so he really picked them off. Well, they were either swerving drivers left or drivers right to avoid cars spinning ahead of them up at turn number 2 at Dewan. That is where I'm afraid to say Giorgio Maggi is stranded. So over the start-finish line they will go. Loris Hazemans leading the race at this stage. Hazemans would finish this race on 390 points. Lasse Sorensen is in 2nd place. He would be on 411. And Alan Day is in 3rd. He would be on 433. So championship still going the way of Alan Day at this stage, despite the fact that he's dropped down into 3rd position. But he will be in contact with the team and the spotters. They'll be telling him exactly what he needs to do to ensure he maintains a championship leading position at the end of the scheduled 18 laps. Saw a chunk of damage to the front end of the number 7 Hendricks Ford there of Olivier Hart. Slightly sideways moment for the 22 of Nicola Rocca. There is Olivier Hart. Stinis Longines raising the dust as well as he's looking to try and make progress again at the wheel of his slightly battered PK Carsport number 11 Chevy. Turning away out of Anion Nieto up towards Curva de la Afición, which is turn number 7. Up front, exiting Bernard Martinez, bouncing over the curb goes Francesco Stini. So running in 4th position, and this I think is going to be a season's best for Francesco Stini. Yeah, he'd had several top 10s prior to this weekend. His results this weekend have been a 16th, a 10th and a further 10th place. So Francesco Stini in 4th position and ahead of Mark Goosens today. He's desperate to try and hang on to it. For the moment, there's no sign of a safety car coming out from Maggi's car. That's because Marshall and circuit staff have done a great job of snatching it out of harm's way. So that removes the possibility of going safety car, and it now means that Loris Hazemans has just got to see what he can do and crack on. He's opened up a 1.6 second gap between himself and Lasse Sorensen. Alan Day still there in third position. There's no additional points for fastest laps or pole positions we need to factor into this one. It's just the 80 points for the win, the 70 for second, the 68 for third, and of course diminishing from there by 2 points for every position. The only other thing we need to factor in is the driver that gains the most places from starting position to finishing position gets 8 points. But that is not likely to be Alan Day, Loris Hazeman or Lasse Sorensen, because all three of those drivers started on the front two rows of the grid. Luca Lasser's having a good battle in 6th place, desperate to try and hang on to the position. He's got Nicola Rocca queuing up behind him at the wheel of the number 22 DF1 Racing Chevy. Nicola Rocca having gained a position over Dario Carzo on that lap, if that's the case then. Carzo will have dropped down to 8th place, but will still be leading the Challenger Trophy element of the race. There goes Francesco Cini. There is Luca Lasser. Yeah, it is, absolutely. Behind him is Nicola Rocca, who has managed to get through and ahead of Dario Carzo. That's an off. Or Mark Houston's, I'm afraid to say. So his car briefly into the gravel trap. He will be able to rejoin, but he won't be in 5th place anymore. That is absolutely for sure. He will tumble all the way down through the order. And that's a shame for the driver who was flying 5th in the championship standings. May well mean now that Luca Lasser or Stinis Longin can move ahead of him, or possibly even Francesco Cini. So, and there goes Mark Goossens off the track again. Now that is two very uncharacteristic mistakes from Mark Goossens. It does make you wonder whether there's an issue with that car that just caught him out on more than one occasion. So that now means that Luca Lasser and Nicola Rocca will move up into 5th and 6th places as a result of those problems for Mark Goossens. Albeit Nicola Rocca is now looking to try and work his way through and gain more places. He's now up into 5th place, I think that is now that he's got himself ahead of the double former champion at the wheel of the number 33 car. Luca having claimed this championship back in 2009 and 2010. Now into the pit lane, I'm afraid to say, is Olivier Hart. Now, that looks like smoke or steam coming from the front of his car, and that is such a shame. A driver who has been quick this weekend has had a few penalties for some of the driving that he's been doing, but on the whole, I think, you know, if he comes and does a bit more racing with us, he will learn, and I think if he does, he will be one to watch in the future, because he's had a solid weekend in terms of pace. He just hasn't had the ultimate result that he would have hoped with that number 7 Hendricks Ford, but he's out of the race by the look of things and going no further. We're on the half-distance lap as well now. So Nicola Rocca pushing hard at the wheel of the number 22 car. Also into the pit lane is number 98, that is. So that is Mark Goossens having retired the car. Let's just have a quick look at the replay. Further back, yeah, it was Tomo Ferrando that got bumped around by Giorgio Maggi, and Stinis Longin sort of got tangled up in their accident. So whilst Tomo Ferrando and Stinis Longin were able to continue with damage to their car, there was no further participation from Giorgio Maggi. He was out on the spot in the gravel, but thankfully snatched out of harm's way, didn't bring about a full course caution. Now, Francesco Cini, if he wants his best result of the season, he's going to have to drive the wheels off, and that's Dario Carzo. Dario Carzo, who is leading the Challenger Trophy element of the race. It's so tight, with 4 drivers, and off has gone Justin Kuntz with him. The two of them have come together at turn number 1, and 2 cars in the gravel trap. Surely that is going to mean a full course caution. It was so tight in the Challenger standings, 15 points separating the top 4 in the Challenger standings. Maraccioni having problems earlier on in the race was 2nd in the standings. Dario Carzo just having problems now was 3rd in the standings, so that really helps out Davide Dallara, who was leading the championship for those amateur drivers in the EuroNASCAR Pro Division. Cini is really going to have to work hard if he wants to hang on to 4th place. It would be the best result of the season for the Solaris Motorsport driver, who's been very successful over the years racing big V8 engined cars in other categories that existed 10 and 15 years ago. But he is coming under big pressure from Nicola Rocca, who bounces the number 22 DF Racing Chevy over the curbs at Championeros, up towards Breguet for Adrian Campos. He's got the inside line. Cini needs to be careful he doesn't brake too late. The tail end of the car skidding around on the very edge of a Dijon, but he gathers it up. loses the one place. Nicola Rocca goes through. He is now up into 4th position as they head over the start-finish line, where we've still got waved yellow flags as a result of the problems that befell both Justin Kuntz at the wheel of the 99 car and the number 8 Wiedvik racing car of Dario Carzo, both of whom were in the gravel. Have either of them left the scene? Let's have a quick look. No, Carzo's car is still there, isn't it? I think Justin Kuntz has been able to get going again. So, Francesco Cini pushing as hard as he can, having lost one place, to try and make sure he doesn't lose a further place to Luca Lasser, who is running in 5th position. So it's Loris Hazemans that leads, Lassie Sorensen second, Alan Day third, Nicola Rocca, Francesco Cini and Luca Lasser wrap up the top 6, with Thomas Ferrandro, Patrick Lamery, Stinis Longines and Davide Delara now completing the top 10. Davide Delara now takes over the lead of the Challenger Trophy aspect of this race, and he's about 5 seconds up the road from the next Challenger Trophy driver, which is Mirko Schultis, who's got a couple of seconds between himself and Yevgen Sokolovsky. So this is the fight for 2nd and 3rd place. Lasse Sorensen with Alan Day behind. Alan Day will know exactly what he needs to do. He knows that whilst he's got a 24-point gap, Lasse Sorensen finishing ahead of him, he's only going to reduce that gap by 2 single points. So whilst Alan Day would love to win the race overall, he knows that sitting there in 3rd place is more than enough to give him what he really wants, which is the championship crown for what will be the 3rd time, having won this championship back in 2017 and again in 2018. He's been right at the sharp end of EuroNASCAR for a good number of years, Alan Day. Runner-up in 2015 he was as well. He will know that, well, gaining 1 place, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Sit where you are, sit behind Lasse Sorensen and let the laps tick away, because by the time the checkered flag comes out, you might not be the race winner, but you are, subject to official confirmation, going to be the champion, he'll be thinking. So out of Dewan they will thread their way. There goes Patrick Lamery. He is running in 9th position at the moment. The black car with the orange numbers behind him is the leading Challenger driver, the leading amateur we've got in the field, which is Davide Delara. Lasse Sorensen still under pressure though. The DF1 Racing Chevy being hounded by the PK Car Sport machine up towards Aniel Nieto, which is the uphill braking area for turn number 6. Then the speeds build up towards Curva delle Affision, and Alan Day has almost got himself alongside here, but he's on the outside line through this corner, outside line for the next corner as well, so he took himself back behind Lasse Sorensen. And is he going to try anything here on the run up towards 9, 10 and 11? Not quite. Bumper to bumper almost, aren't they, the pair of them? And now he's going to try and take as wide a sweep into 10 as he can. Is he going to try and cut back at 11? Needs to be careful because he's got a DF1 racing car ahead of him. He's also got a DF1 racing car behind him. So the team is sort of ganging up a little bit here maybe on Alan Day. He's got Lassie Sorensen ahead, Nicola Rocca sitting behind. So it's Dane from the Israeli, from the Italian. So many different nationalities represented in the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. For the moment, Alan Day in 3rd place. It is enough for him to seal the championship title in this race, and the laps are just ticking off all of the time. 12 laps now completed, on to lap number 13 as Nicola Rocca looks to try and draw himself alongside Alan Day. Alan Day just makes sure he covers off any move from the Italian that sits behind. Alan Day gets pushed out a little bit wide from Lasse Sorensen heading out of turn number 1. Sorensen's got the inside line for turn number 2, which is Dewan. The door is open. Nicola Rocca is surely going to go through it ahead of Alan Day, who'd be wise to just blend out the throttle here, but he's not going to give the place up easy. Through goes Nicola Rocca. So that's 2 more points lost in terms of the championship for Alan Day. But as it stands at the moment, Loris Hazemans leads the race, would finish on 390 points. Lasse Sorensen, who is in 2nd place, would be on 411. Alan Day has now dropped from 3rd to 4th. He is on 431, so it's still more than enough for him to lift the championship crown at the end of this race. In fact, he could afford to lose a few more places as well. He could finish down in 14th position. He would be tied on points with Lasse Sorensen, but because he's got more wins, he on the countback would still claim the title. So there's still another 10 places Alan Day can lose, and he would still be the champion in this. So lap number 13 they are on at this stage, so 5 more to go after the one that they are on. And for Alan Day, he is now off the overall podium slots. The leading junior driver that we've got in the race at the moment is Lasse Sorensen in second place, so he's the leading driver for the under 25-year-old. Second in the junior category is down in 7th place, Thomas Ferrando, and third is down in 13th place, which is Justin Kuntz. As for the Challenger Trophy, first, second and third, well, that is Davide Dallara, Mirko Schultis, and the number 46 car of Yevgeny Sokolovsky down in what is 10th, 11th and 12th places overall. So we're hearing there is a drive-through penalty for car number 99, Justin Kuntz. That would be because of the contact that took place between himself and Dario Carzo. So Justin Kuntz deemed as being the culprit or the aggressor for that one. But out on track, Nicola Rocca, I think, is looking to try and see if he can haul himself up the order. Now, from a team perspective, what they would want to do is make sure that Lasse Sorensen still stays ahead of Nicola Rocca, just in case something were to happen to Alan Day. But from a driver perspective, they all bring their respective budgets to the teams, and Nicola Rocca will want to try and finish the season on a high, and if he can gain one more place over his teammate, I'm sure he'll try and do it. So drive-through penalty, there's the confirmation of the drive-through penalty for car number 99. So that is Justin Kuntz, who will vacate 12th position. By the time he's done the drive-through penalty, going to drop him way down through the order. So lap number 15 is going to be started very shortly. And for the number 24 car of Alan Day, it isn't looking like it's going to be a win. Looks as though that win, the final win of the year, is going to go the way of this car here, the number 50 Hendricks Ford, in the hands of Loris Hazemans. And that is surely also going to wrap up the team's title as well for the number 50 car and Hendricks Motorsport. They've had a really good season generally, Hendricks Motorsport. What with the performance of the number 50 car, the work that the number 18 has done as well in the hands of Vittorio Garelli, who claimed the EuroNASCAR 2 championship in the number 18 car earlier on, and Giorgio Maggi, who hasn't quite had the look really this season. And the number 7 car's gone well as well generally, in the hands of Martin Dubeck largely, but we've seen different drivers drive it over the course of the season. For this weekend, it is Olivier Hart. We saw the British driver Daniel Rowbottom, former British touring car racer, driving it at Vallelunga as well. But we've seen a range of different drivers behind the wheel of the number 7. So through Curva de l'Affichon, up towards Bernard Martinez. There goes Justin Kuntz down the pit lane for his drive-through penalty. So he'll have to stick at the pit lane speed limit all the way down the pit lane before he can accelerate up to racing speed again, and that is going to drop him way down through the order. Now, Loris Hazemans has now opened up a 5.5 second gap between himself and Lasse Sorensen. Nicola Rocca seems to have settled in third place, actually. Warning being given to the number 46 car. Now, that is Yevgeny Sokolovsky. Now, Yevgeny will need to be careful that he doesn't transgress the circuit limits much more. If he does, it would be a drive-through penalty, and that might bring both Dario Carzo and Mauro Trioni back into the mix again. And it's so tight in terms of championship points between all of them that none of them can afford really a mistake. We saw Dario Carzo have his problems and end up in the gravel. We saw Mauro Trioni tangled up at turn number 1 as well. So at the moment, it certainly looks as though Davide Dallara is looking as though he's heading towards the Challenger Trophy Championship for this year. It certainly looks as though Lasse Sorensen will claim the Junior Trophy Championship. And this is now, with a couple of laps to go, highly looking like Alan Day is going to become a 3 times EuroNASCAR champion. But anything could still happen. Until you get to the checkered flag, there is still work to be done. And Alan Day will know more than anybody about that. He's had some great drives over the course of this season and previous seasons, but he's also had a couple of difficult weekends in the double points scoring rounds. In particular, Hockenheim 2019 rings a bell for me. Or 2018 it would have been, rather. So through Bernard Martinez, and then just running the cars out wide, but not too wide. Curve line goes Lasse Sorensen, followed by Nicola Rocca. the gap first to second having come down a little bit over the course of the last lap or so, but that's more now just Loris Hazeman's having built the advantage, controlling the gap that he's got and just making sure that he can leave a bit of time out there. It doesn't matter if he's a second a lap slower than the cars behind, because there aren't enough laps now for them to catch him. A little bit of damage to the front splitter on Rocker's car as well. They're just sort of falling away, that front splitter. So on to what will be the penultimate lap of the 2020 season. Over the start-finish line they will go. You can see the gap that Loris Hazeman has over Lasse Sorensen. So it's Hendricks, Ford from the two TF1 Racing Chevys, the PK Car Sport car of Alan Day in 4th position, Solaris Motorsport Chevy of Francesco Sini in 5th, the Mishu Motors car in 6th place, the Alex Caffey Motorsport car in 7th, the Not Only Motorsport car in 8th, the Feedvic Racing car there in 9th, and it's another Mishu Motors car that completes the top 10, Mirko Schultes. So their respective teams that are running these cars. But for Alan Day, it's looking as though he's not going to finish on the overall podium, but he's going to walk home with the main prize that he was after over the course of this weekend in what has been another fascinating season, very different season for the reasons that we all know, but we have managed to squeeze in by hook or by crook all of the events, probably bar one that we were expecting. We haven't had quite as much racing. There's been no drop scores either this year, so all rounds have counted in the slightly reduced season, but hopefully normal service will resume in 2021. The calendar is set. I will certainly be telling you about that before we cut the live stream. And remember, we will be hanging around at the end of this race to bring you the podium ceremonies for this race and for the overall championship after that. So please, please, please hang around once the racing is finished, because we will be presenting the champions' trophies on the podium here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo, Valencia. So Loris Hazeman is about to start the last lap of the race. It is the last lap in which he is going to be a NASCAR champion, because Alan Day in 4th place is going to take over that title. So he is the outgoing champion, Loris Hazeman, if they stay where they are. There's still fights to be settled out on track, though, certainly for the last place inside the top 6 as well. Luca Lasserre still squabbling away with his fellow countryman, Tomo Ferrando. But for Alan Day, it's looking as though it's the championship. For Loris Hazeman, it's looking as though it's his 2nd win of the season. He claimed the opening race and went to victory lane in round 1 of the championship, and it looks as though he's heading towards victory lane again in the final round of the 2020 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series NASCAR Pro Division. So flicking his way through the next of the right-handers, and is about to then head his way up towards the braking area for the next of the left-handers. So circuit continually sweeps right to left and then back to the right again here. But for Loris Hazeman, he is just heading in towards the braking area midway around the lap at turn number 8, which is going to be where he'll be heading now, out of Bernard Martinez, up towards the kink at 9, on towards the braking area at 10, and then through turn number 11. And there's just 3 corners to go now for Loris Hazeman, who is going to hand the championship crown that he had on his head last year over to Alan Day, who is surely just now a few corners away from becoming, subject to official confirmation of course, a 3-time NASCAR champion. Loris Hazeman heads up towards the final corner. He won the first round of the championship at Vallelunga. He is going to claim a win in the final round of the championship and bring the number 50 Hendricks Ford back towards victory lane. That surely seals the team's title as well for the number 50 Ford. Loris Hazeman claims the win. It is going to be in 2nd position Lasse Sorensen, who finishes in 2nd place. Nicola Rocket chasing him to the line. Alan Day takes the checkered flag now, and subject to official confirmation, that means he is the 2020 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series NASCAR Pro Champion for this year, meaning that he also now moves on to 3 championship titles in NASCAR, which is the same amount as Ander Villarino has, which means that not only is he the most winningest driver, but he has now got as many championship titles as anybody has got. So Alan Day will be as pleased as punch with that one. It's been a different year for all of us. Alan has not been living back in his native Israel. Ashdod is where he lives in Israel. He's been living in Belgium so that he can have easier travel arrangements with the travel restrictions that are in place. As a result of not being at home, he's concentrated on his fitness. He's a fit guy anyway. But he has been able to concentrate ever more on his fitness and his stamina, and well, everybody congratulating him. Great to see, isn't it? And as I said earlier on, it's for me, I think the toughest thing about this year is not being able to see the smile on people's faces. I love the emotion of motorsport, both the positive side of it and the negative side of it as well. But when a driver has worked with his team so hard to try and win something and they secure it, such a shame, isn't it? They've got a mask over their mouth this year, and we just can't see the absolute elation otherwise that you would be seeing. I'm sure he will be celebrating tonight, Alan Day, as the number 24 PK Car Sport Heinz Performance and Monster Energy back car heads around the circuit. And he will probably hang around on the exit of turn 1 and maybe do a few donuts, I would have thought. Loris Hazeman's not to be for him. Lasse Sorensen, what a gallant effort, I've got to say, for any driver that secures titles in EuroNASCAR 2. They're not slow, but EuroNASCAR Pro is a different level. And for Lasse Sorensen to come in this year, claim 2 wins, and be in the championship hunt at the final round, I think hats off to him for his debut season at the top flight. I'm sure he will be back. He will be back stronger next year. And that man there, Loris Hazemans, will hand over the championship crown, but not for long. It will be temporary as far as he's concerned, because he will want to come back next year and be even stronger. So the cars will be heading in towards the pit lane. I think Loris Hazemans is going to hang around. Is he to do a few donuts? Maybe, is he? No, he's just spinning the rear tyres up, heading out of turn number 14. But we will see the number 24 PK Car Sport Chevy of Alan Day, who is still trundling his way around the circuit. Very, very, very slowly his in-lap has been done. And then once he has got himself towards the exit of turn number 14, once the all clear is given by race control, he should be able to celebrate in the traditional fashion. So he's just heading in towards the braking area for Adrian Campos. Victory lane is being readied. Now, of course, all of the cars still have to go through various technical checks, and race control need to sign off the results. But there is Alan Day celebrating in the traditional fashion. What a season it has been for him. He is now a 3 times NASCAR champion, Alan Day, and will be absolutely delighted with that. I just hope that we can hang on to him with NASCAR racing on this side of the Atlantic. And for his career, of course, I'm sure he'd like to head over to the States and conduct some more NASCAR racing out there. But what would be their gain would be our sad loss, I'm afraid to say. But he will know where he wants to go, in conjunction with his partners as well, who support him, his sponsors. They will decide as to what the best career path is for a driver who, without question, has been at the top of his game in European NASCAR racing for a good number of years. Big congratulations for him as he heads down the pit lane. We will hopefully be able to grab a word with our race winner, and I'm not sure whether Andre will get the opportunity to chat to the champion for this year. But if we don't, watch out for social media, because we will be having interviews that will be posted on social media for sure, and we will be hanging around for the podium presentations as well. So the sun beginning to set here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. The podium presentations will take place after we have spoken to our race winner in victory lane. The thumbs up has been given. Loris Hazemans bangs the roof of the number 50 Hendricks Ford, stands on top of it, and looks really, really pleased with his efforts. He is the outgoing champion, but what a season it has been for him. Won the first race of the year, won the last race of the year, and I think with the performance that both himself and Tobias Dauenhauer have done, that should be enough to see the number 50 Hendricks Ford scoop up the team's title as well. So big congratulations all round, and we will wait for him to take off his crash helmet and then grab a word with Loris Hazemans. He's receiving the congratulations of absolutely everyone. That's Giorgio Maggi, it looks as though he's chatting to there. Can't quite see in the top corner of the screen, but that looks as though it's Giorgio Maggi that he's chatting to, who is, of course, one of the drivers who was not able to finish in that race. His Hendricks Ford having gone into the gravel trap at turn number 2, when there was that contact between himself and Thomas Ferrando, and Stinish Longin got sort of taffled up in it at the same time as well. So still fist pumping, still elated with the win, and that should be enough for him to finish 3rd in the championship standings as well. So Andre is there with microphone in hand. We just need to get the gloves off, get the crash helmet off and the balaclava, take out the earplugs, and then we should be able to grab a word with our final race winner of what's been a fantastic 2020 season. Loris Hazemans, takes out the earplugs, needs to put the mask on ideally, which he should have in his pocket, I would have thought. And then we'll be able to grab a word with our final race winner of the 2020 season. Loris Hazemans is down there in victory lane with Andre.
Loris Hazemans, you were not able to defend the title, but at least a race win at the end of the season. You're still happy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we knew in race 1, or rather race 3, that we had basically we were stuck in third gear, so the shifter itself had been disengaged from the gearbox, so we knew then pretty much that it was over. It was anyways going to be a tough ask because we were trailing quite a bit, but we gave it our all, and at least we finished the season on a high note in first position. And yeah, I want to say big congratulations obviously to Alan. Even though we are big competitors on track, we get really well along on track. Well, getting confused there, off track. But yeah, big congratulations to him. Thank you to the Hendricks Motorsport guys. We have had a really tough season, but they were always there to basically persevere through. Also thank you to all my family who is here and always supporting me. Really grateful for that and for the years that they have been helping me.
All right, thank you very much, Loris Hazemans.
Well done to Loris Hazemans. Congratulations on his win. That now means he moves on to 7 career wins in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series and claims the final win here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo, the circuit named after the former 2 times 50cc world motorcycle champion. There's Alan Day sitting down and relaxing. He's popping on his mask, so I am hopeful that we might be able to have a chat with him. Yes, we can. Andre's down there with the champion.
Alan Day, the most winningest driver, and now you're also tied for the championship record with Ana Villarino, your 3rd championship ring in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series.
I have no words. You know, 2020 was such a hard year for me. When I decided to leave everything in Israel and leave everything and coming to Belgium and live in Belgium next to PK workshop, and yeah, the dedication was enough to win the championship. I guess it was such a hard time living alone, and with the lockdown and everything that's going on in Europe was really tough, physically and especially mentally. And this weekend was one of the most demanding weekends I ever had in my life. Yeah, we made it. PK made it, and I own everything for them. My mechanics, my engineer, Anthony, everybody. And yeah, I'm a happy boy right now, and finally I'm going home.
Congratulations, Alan Day, you're 2020 EuroNASCAR champion.
So there we go, delight for Alan Day, and as he said, hard to describe in words, and you can only imagine for a driver, as he said, that is going to head to Belgium and leave everything at home, really, leave the family at home, and then being on his own during lockdown. We've all had a tough year and we can only draw off our own experiences, but yeah, to still have that focus and come out and win the championship, well done to him, well done to PK Car Sport. Anthony Kumpen and the guys, and yeah, bad luck for those drivers that pushed him all of the way, but just maybe the cards didn't fall in their favour. We're going to have some podiums coming up very shortly. I just want to go through the results though. Loris Hazemans claims the win. Second place was Lassie Sorensen, who also scooped up the win in the junior category. Third was the car of Nicola Rocca. Fourth was Alan Day, but claimed the championship. Fifth was Francesco Sini, and in sixth place was the second of the junior drivers home, which was number 1 Tomo Ferrando. Seventh was Luca Lasser. Eighth place was a leading driver in the Challenger Trophy, Davide Delara. That's enough for him to lift the championship crown in that one. Ninth was Patrick Lamery, and completing the top 10 was Mirko Schultes. 11th was Yevgen Sokolovsky. 12th, despite the drive-through penalty, was Justin Kuntz. 13th in the end was Stinis Longin, who had an up-and-down race, and 14th for Dario Carzo. Under Villarino, Olivier Hart, Mark Goosens, Mauro Trioni, Giorgio Maggi, and the unfortunate Gianmarco Ercoli wrap up the rest of the cars that we saw in that final race of the 2020 championship season. So the drivers now need to point themselves in the general direction of the podium. We will have some gathering up to do. So whilst we're gathering up the drivers, let's look back at some of the highlights from the weekend. So when the lights went out in this final race at the weekend. This is highlights of the race we've just seen. Alan Day and Loris Hazemans were side by side off the start, heading up towards turn number 1. It was a good start from Alan Day, though, that meant that he could have the inside line, protect the lead, and come out in the lead of the race, with Loris Hazemans in second place, Lasse Sorensen slotting himself through into third, and a good start from Tomo Ferrando saw him up into fourth place. The charging number 11 PK Carsport car of Stinis Longjin, who didn't set a lap time in the first race because he was out on the spot of race number 1, had to start off the back of the grid, and he was already making fantastic progress up through the order. There was contact at the back of the pack heading out of turn number 14, cars shedding bodywork and bits flying off them, but it didn't worry the race leaders, but eventually a safety car would come out. When we got the race back underway, it was a slightly slower start from Alan Day, and this time it allowed Loris Hazemans to sweep his way into the lead of the race. Lasse Sorensen would slot himself through into second, but there was contact between Tomo Ferrando, Giorgio Maggi and Stinis Longjin. Whilst Ferrando and Longjin would continue, Giorgio Maggi was out on the spot. His car was moved out of harm's way, though, so he didn't need another full course caution. As the race wore on, the race continued, but that's all of the highlights. So we've clipped some of the highlights there, but it was ultimately a win for Loris Hazemans. It was Lasse Sorensen in second place, Nicola Rocca in third, but fourth was enough for that man there to be the champion, which was Alan Day. So I think what they're trying to do is try to squeeze in the championship photographs now before the sun sets. And what we'll then also have is our drivers from the race getting ready up on the podium. So we will be hanging around to bring you the podium presentations. I'm not sure which order we're doing them. It will be the race podium presentation first, I would have thought, overall. And then it will probably be the junior trophy and the challenger trophy, I think. And then we'll cycle through doing those championship trophies. And we'll slot in the team trophy somewhere as well. But I don't know which order we are doing them in as yet. The podium is being readied. And whilst we await for the podium to be ready, let me tell you about the 2021 championship season. The first and second rounds of the championship are back here in Circuit Ricardo Tormo Valencia. So we are here opening up the 2021 championship season on the 17th and 18th of April with the NASCAR Grand Prix of Spain. Then a month later we will move to Autodromo di Vallelunga just outside of Rome for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Italy on the 15th and 16th of May. After that, a month later, the 19th and 20th of June, we go to Autodrom Most in the Czech Republic, or Czechia, depending on which you wish to call it, for rounds 5 and 6 of the championship. And then in July, the 3rd and 4th will be back in the United Kingdom at Brands Hatch on the Indy Circuit for American Speed Fest, taking place over what is the Independence Day weekend, the 3rd and 4th of July. Just 2 weeks after that, we go to the Hockenheim Ring in Germany for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Germany on the 17th and 18th of July. 2 months after that, we are in Croatia at Automotodrom Grobnik for the Croatian NASCAR Grand Prix on the 18th and 19th of September, and that is the regular season finished at that point. We will then move on to Circuit Zolder for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Belgium and the finals race meeting. That's where it becomes double points again for rounds 13 and 14, and that will take place on the 9th and the 10th of October. All of the details of that can be found on the website of EuroNASCAR.com. And don't forget also sign up for our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EuroNASCAR, and make sure you click on the details so that you are automatically notified when new content is added, because there's a chunk of new content coming up over the course of the winter, and all of the announcements will be on there as well. Follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram as well. So the podium is as good as ready. We just need to scoop up our last few drivers, and then we will be cracking on with the first of what are likely to be, I would imagine, 7 different podiums that we will have. We will have 3 separate podiums for this race that's just occurred. Overall, the Junior Trophy and the Challenger. We will repeat that for the 2020 championship season overall for EuroNASCAR Pro, Junior and Challenger, and we'll slot in the team's trophy as well somewhere along the way. So haven't had confirmation of which order as yet, so it might just be a case of looking who's coming out and sorting it out from there. So still see the flags rather blustery. Just another quick look of the replay. This was the point at which I think we missed out on the final bit of the action, and this was Alan Day, who I think was quite happy really to let Lasse Sorensen go through and take the position away from him. And as a result of that, Nicola Rocca was able to squeeze through as well. And well, there was no point fighting for Alan Day. He was already doing the maths with his spotter, and doesn't matter that he let those 2 cars through because it's still enough for the championship.
Second place goes to Lasse Sørensen.
Up onto the podium goes Nicola Rocca, who finished in 3rd place. Lasse Sørensen finished in 2nd place. This is the overall podium for the final race of the season. And the top step of the podium,
the race winner
in the final race of the season,
Heesemans,
goes the way of Loris Heesemans. So Loris Heesemans heads out onto the podium.
And now the national anthem of the Netherlands.
And now we will remain silent for the national anthem.
I will do a full one.
And also you just have the ring.
I have the ring?
Yes, you have the ring.
Now I have to actually be right.
Now drivers, please take your trophies for the photos.
So the trophies held aloft, and congratulations to Loris Heesemans for Lasse Sørensen in 2nd place. Nicola Rocca on the right of your screen there in 3rd position. As the champagne is about to fly on the podium, the first of our podiums here, and the conclusion of what is the Valencia Super Speed Week. A different way to end the season, I've got to say. Huge commitment from the drivers and the teams to make sure that the cars are able to compete in all of the sessions. 8 races in total over the course of the 2 divisions, and what would be 4 separate qualifying sessions as well. So it has been a great weekend, and a weekend which could have caused a few cars to go by the wayside with attrition, but the teams have worked superbly hard to service the cars and make sure that they are all ready to go for the next 2 races.
Mirko Schulz.
So,
you're Mirko. Okay.
Next of the podiums we're going to see is the TJ Fastest Driver of the Weekend award, which will be presented, and that is about to take place, and then we will move on with the Junior and Challenger trophies for the race that we've just seen, before we then move on to the 2020 season podium. So, podium just being redressed, ready for TJ Fastest Driver of the event award. No, that is ready on the podium.
And up next, the TJ Fastest Driver Award. And it goes to Alan Day.
So Alan Day heads out onto the podium as the fastest driver of the event, and is going to be
and the beautiful
with that one. Not be the last time that we see him over the course of the next few minutes. The fantastic titanium ring presented by TJ to Alan Day, and he will also get a champion's ring as well that he will be able to use and utilise. The 3rd of those that he's got as well, the 3rd champion's ring that he will have. So Alan Day delighted with that
podium in a few seconds.
titanium ring, supported by TJ, who are wonderful partners to the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. And then once we've done that, we will then be on to the Junior Trophy. The final photographs just being done, puts it back in the beautiful looking presentation box that they are presented in. And off the podium for the moment goes Alan Day. But as I say, we've got the championship podium to come up, so he will be back on there in a few moments' time. So we now move on to the Junior Trophy for the race that we have just seen. So this is for drivers that compete in the EuroNASCAR Pro Division who are aged 25 and under at the course of the beginning of the season. And
on third
we are
place of
ready
the
to
Junior
go
Trophy
with this
podium,
one.
Justin Kunz.
So finishing in 12th position overall in the race, despite the drive-through penalty, Justin Coots finishes in 3rd place in the Junior Trophy. Second place in the junior trophy to the driver that finished 6th overall for Alex Caffey Motorsport. Tomo Ferrando comes through and is going to head up onto the podium.
Lasse Sorensen.
But the top step of the junior trophy podium for the race that we've just seen goes the way of the big Dane. Lasse Sorensen is the winner of the junior trophy. They will hold their trophies aloft. We'll get the photographs taken. And then once our junior drivers have headed off the podium, we will then redress the podium once more, and we will get out the top 3 drivers in the Challenger Trophy for the final race of the season, before we then move on to our 2020 Championship podiums in the various categories. So, more trophies to head out.
Up next, the Challenger Trophy podium of the EuroNASCAR Pro Final
Should be
2.
Yevgeny Sokolovsky that will be out in 3rd position. Mirko Schultis and Davide Dallara should be the top 3. So
in 3rd, Yevgen Sokolovsky.
So there we go. Yevgen Sokolovsky heads out onto the podium, finishing in 3rd position. Second place goes the way of the German driver Mirko Schultis. And the top step of the podium, sporting the Christmas jumper as well as that. Well done to Mirko Schultis. But it is Davide Dallara that heads up onto the top step of the podium. Congratulations to all 3 of those. Yevgen Sokolovsky, Ukrainian driver, to Mirko Schultis, the German, and the top step of the podium, Davide Dallara, the Italian driver. 3 different nationalities represented on the 3 steps of the podium for the Challenger Trophy, which is for amateur drivers that compete in EuroNASCAR Pro. So that concludes our race podiums. We will now move on to the Championship Trophy podiums.
EuroNASCAR champion.
And it will be the top 3 in the championship overall that will be heading out onto the circuit now, out onto the podium now. This is the overall top 3 for the 2020 championship season. So some fine looking trophies to present to them. And for Alan Day, it will be the 3rd time that he has been crowned the EuroNASCAR Pro champion, having claimed the championship back-to-back titles in 2017 and 2018. He is back to winning ways in 2020. We've only ever had back-to-back champions. No driver has ever claimed 3 on the trot. Luca Lasser claimed 2 on the trot in 9 and 10. Villaredio did it in 12 and 13, Alan Day in 17 and 18. So 3rd overall in the championship, Loris Hazemans, who's just won the race and is 3rd overall in the championship. Swap the hat, get the right hat on, out onto the podium.
Second
goes Loris Hazemans. 2nd in the championship, Lasse Sorensen, his 1st year at the top flight full-time in EuroNASCAR Pro, finishes runner-up. But the top step of the podium and the champion for 2020, Alan Day, is now a 3 times EuroNASCAR champion. So congratulations to him.
The national anthem of
and now it's time for the national anthem of Israel.
Yeah. Beautiful
So congratulations to Alan Day, Lasse Sorensen and Loris Hazemans.
The beautiful TJ Trophy, brand new by NASCAR World Year Series President Jerome Golpa.
So the championship trophy being presented to Alan Day by the CEO of EuroNASCAR and its president, Jerome Galpin, him and his team, who have put so much hard work in. This is a TJ supplied, brand new titanium trophy for this year. It's been redesigned by our fantastic partners, and what a fine looking trophy it is. So pure titanium, strong as anything, as light as anything as well, But what a wonderful trophy for Alan Day to receive. And, well, Jerome Galpin will make good his escape because the champagne is about to fly on the podium as the top three in the EuroNASCAR Pro Division for this year celebrate what has been a different season for sure, but a thoroughly enjoyable season. Poor old Alan Day is at a slight disadvantage, isn't he? He's got two people ganging up on him, and yeah, what a fantastic weekend. Such a shame there's no official awards available at the Night of Champions, but this is the best that we can do in these strange and current times. The last few bits of champagne being put into the trophies, and I'll have a quick slurp of them while they're out there as well. And why not? What a great season it's been for Alan Day, for Lasse Sorensen, and for Loris Hazemans. So that was the top three overall in the championship. We should now be moving on to the top three.
And up next, the team championship podium of the 2020 season.
What's the team that's next? So the team championship podium is going to be the next of those that is up. And this is where cars racing both EuroNASCAR 2 and EuroNASCAR 1, and the points that they accumulate with each of their respective drivers get added together, and that goes towards the team's championship. So in reality, it's the car that scores the point, because Hendricks Motorsport, for instance, have 3 cars in the championship, so we don't count all of theirs. It's each
in
car gets counted
the number 11 Chevrolet Camaro.
In third place, it's the number 11 PK Car Sport car that was driven over the course of the season by Julia Landauer and Stinis Longji. Congratulations to them. It's the Hendricks Motorsport number 18 of Vittorio Garelli and Giorgio Maggi.
And the winner of the 2020 Team Championship, the number 50 of Hendricks Motorsport.
Goes the way of the number 50 Hendricks Ford that was driven so well by Tobias Dauenhauer and by Loris Hazemans. And it is Roy Hendricks that stands on the top step of the podium. Now it's time for the national anthem of the winning team.
And this is the moment to raise the trophies for the photos.
So there we go. Hendricks first and second in the team's championship. The number 50 car winning the team's championship. Number 18 finishing second. For PK Car Sport, Anthony Kumpen and the team. Their number 11 car, Julia Landauer and Stinis Longji, finishes third in the team's standings. And now it's time for some more champagne to be sprayed there on the podium. We're just going to squeeze all of these in before the sun sets, and I'm delighted that we have hung around for these as well, because we don't usually get to see podium celebrations in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We usually stop the stream before the podium gets underway. We just chat to the winner in victory lane, but it's right that this year, after all of the years and all of the effort that everybody has put into making this happen, that we not only hang around and do the final podiums or the final races of the year, but after that we hang around for the championship podiums as well, because it means a lot to people. Everybody has had to compromise and adapt this year, and it's been difficult from a commentary perspective doing the event remotely. I've not travelled for a single event this year, but we've got there, we've done it. So we move on to what should be the penultimate podium. This will be the championship podium for the junior category. So we should see.
In third place, from Germany, Justin Kunz.
So Justin Kuntz scoots up third position. He was lying fourth in the championship standing. But the problem with Giorgio Maggi, Justin Kuntz finished third in the championship. Gianmarco Ercoli second in the junior category. He was in with a chance to win the overall title, but his race went rather wrong, didn't it, very early on. And Lasse Sorensen heads back onto the podium again, making sure he's got the right hat, and heads onto the top step of the podium. So this is your top three in the junior category for drivers aged under 25 in EuroNASCAR Pro at the beginning of the season, or 25 and under. So congratulations to Justin Kuntz, finishing third overall in the end. He was fourth in the standings going into that race.
And now the celebrations, please.
For Gianmarco Ercoli, He finishes in second place in the end. Didn't have much of a race there, went out at the very first corner, and that cost him the opportunity for the title. And then Lasse Sorensen, who finished second overall in the championship, but was first of the drivers aged 25 and under. And hopefully he'll be back, and all three of those will be back next year as well. And then we've just got one more podium to hang around for, which will be the 2020 EuroNASCAR Pro Challenger Trophy podium for the top three in the championship overall for the amateur drivers that compete in the top flight of European NASCAR, the only NASCAR affiliated championship outside of North America. Sun beginning to set as well. Perfect timing. We're just going to squeeze them all in, but we're not going to have time for much more after that before the sun finally disappears over the hill. So third in the Challenger Trophy, the Ukrainian driver Yevgen Sokolovsky, who's had a busy weekend racing in every one of the races. Mauro Trioni, who was the championship leader, comes through to finish in second position. But it's Davide Dallara, who is the Challenger champion, the leading amateur driver in the category in 2020. Shakes the hand of Mauro Trioni and Yevgen Sokolovsky. And congratulations to all three of them. To Yevgen Sokolovsky on the right of your screen, to Mauro Trioni on the left, and in the centre, on the top step of the podium, it is Davide Dallara. Are they going to make merry with the champagne? Well, because he's already changed out of his race overalls, Mauro Trioni makes good his escape. And it just leaves Davide Dallara and Yevgen Sokolovsky to spray the final batch of champagne here on the podium. And that is really going to be the final action that we're going to see here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo for what has been a fantastic weekend, badged as the Valencia Super Speed Week, with really 4 races for each one of the categories. Lots to get through. Our Trione comes in. Look, Trione snuck up, look, while they've run out of ammunition. Typical of Mauro Trione. He waits for them until they've got no ammunition to fight back. Comes in, sprays them, makes good his escape again. That is Mauro Trione all over. Fantastic character. So that wraps up the podiums for the 2020 NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. Congratulations to the number 50 Hendricks Ford for wrapping up the team's title. Congratulations to Vittorio Garelli for claiming the EuroNASCAR 2 title earlier on. And a massive congratulations to the driver of that car there. Alan Day becomes a 3-time EuroNASCAR champion. It's been a great season. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been such a shame that due to travel restrictions, I've not been able to head to any of the events, but delighted to have covered it again for Team FJ and EuroNASCAR. And we'll do it all again in 2021, because remember, we get the season underway on the 17th and 18th of April here at Ricardo Tormo. We go to Vallelunga in Italy on the 15th and 16th of May, to Most in the Czech Republic on the 19th and 20th of June, before we head to the UK on the 3rd and the 4th of July. Germany on the 17th and 18th of July, Grobnik in Croatia on the 18th and 19th of September, and the finals will be held at Circuit Belgium over the course of the 9th and the 10th of October. All of the details on the website, EuroNASCAR.com. Don't forget to follow the YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/EuroNASCAR, and make sure you click so that you're aware of all of the additional content that we have been adding over the course of the winter. Well, that's it. It's been a mammoth weekend for absolutely everybody. Fantastic, and congratulations to all of our drivers and teams. Well done to the production crew and all of the media team out there at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. Couldn't do it without you guys. And for myself, Mark Werrell, based here in the UK, thanks for joining us. That's it. We've crowned our champions in 2020. We'll be back in 2021. Until then, cheerio. Ivan, thank you so much. You guys are brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been great working with you these last 2 events. You're a star. Thank you. Safe journey home, guys, as well, and hopefully we'll get to meet and work together next year.